How do some people become super powerful and super rich and super famous, right? I mean, you can see some people really, I mean, they're reaching the heights of financial success. And can you also attain that or become, like super successful, actor, actress, singer, or, business person, entrepreneur, or even your own home-based business, right? Some people are making big money, 17-year-olds getting, making a lot of money, right? And you are struggling to make a couple of $100, right? And at 17-year-old getting 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, like six-figure incomes and obscene amounts, right? And how is this possible? Is there some secret? Yes, there is, right? So I'm going to discuss this in the video today. So for those of you who like the contents of my video, I'd like to ask you a great favor. Please do not forget to also like and subscribe to my channel. This is going to greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And one extra favor, if you could just drop a comment and share it with just one other person or social media channel, I would very highly appreciate that. But bottom line, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for just watching my videos and spending your precious time with me. A big thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I am Osman. I'm a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities. Um, Specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and spiritual ailments. I have a major offer, uh, 10-minute anxiety fix for just $5, cheaper than the price of a Starbucks coffee, and delivered to you telepathically anywhere in the world, uh, and pay only after you're satisfied. So it is a risk-free way to experience what is telepathic healing and get rid of something that is very hard to get rid of, right? And visit my website yogawellness786.com, yogawellness786.com for contact information. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. In that time, the uniqueness of my methods is that I've studied under various different masters from different schools of thought, from different cultures, and across the globe, from the Far East, the Middle East, and the West, including the scientific communities. And I've taken the best of all the worlds, creating my own unique protocols that are faster, quicker, more time efficient, results oriented, basically adapted for the 21st century. To that end, I now have students in over 100 countries. And my favorite protocol is the 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com, in exchange to subscribing to my blog and where you can get more information about my services. Also, remember that my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So how is it that some people, man, they become super rich and they become super famous, or they become very successful, right? So you are looking at the result and you want the same result for you. You are able to get a certain result only. So maybe you're getting people who are able to earn billions, billionaires. And then you get people who are millionaires, and then people who are struggling, who are able to get by, and people who can't even get by, right? So these are the various results that you're experiencing. And if these are consistent results, then we're looking at them, because maybe it's something temporary, so we're not looking at something temporary, because anyone can lose a job, anyone can lose a business, but they can rebuild it again. So a very good example is I built very successful business, and then I left the business, I lost the business, and I went to another country and built my international business, and then the circumstances came, I lost that business, and I built another business and another and another and another. I don't know how many businesses I lost and how many businesses I built, but I always, when I lose a business, I don't get stressed. So I'll build one again, because circumstances come. What can we do? The major crisis happened in 2008, wiped me and a lot of people out. And then COVID came, there was a lockdown for 2 years. And if you're in Dubai, 2 years lockdown, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your staff salaries. If you don't do that, you go to jail, right? Because you go to jail for financial, for money that you owe, right? So I think they're changing the laws, recently. But owing money is a serious, you won't be able to leave the country. You can't be owing money and someone got, a case against you, and you think you can leave, that you are a prisoner of the country if you're not going to a physical prison, right? There's these type of things can happen, and fortunately, I was able to overcome, these losses. And the good thing is I'm not owing money, right? And I came out of this situation. I've got friends that are owing millions, right? $50 million, right? Some people are owing 100 million. So, and they became liquidated. There's no way they can recover, right? So what do these people do, right? So they can't do anything, in that situation. So you're looking at different people's circumstances and your own circumstances. How can you become on that level, right? I promise you, it is like me reaching success every time, and creating startup. It's not so easy. Start another business. The one business took me 6 years, earning less than any person I ever knew. Even a cleaner, a secretary did earn more than me. And then I started to earn more than anyone than I ever knew, right? 6 years later, that I mean, of course, not more than ever, but from the people that I physically knew, right? No one was earning more than me, right? Going from that level. But it was a set of habits and practices that I put into place. And when something was not working, changing direction, changing, eventually something worked. But having the discipline also and a system in place, and knowledge and training, right? A lot of dedication, practice, learning, knowledge, training, habits. Some people are just naturally have successful habits without, naturally always rich and, always successful in everything, and so forth. You get this type of people, but it's a certain set of habits. You need to adopt the same style of habits among the people that you want to become. So if you want to become a millionaire, try to find out all the millionaires that you know. Try to follow their social media, their YouTube channels, their websites, and their life story, the history, what type of habits they have. Study them very deeply and go, what is it that you can do within your capacity and what is available to you? Because many things is not available to you. You don't have the money for it. But what you can do, let's say people are always doing self-motivation courses, right? And you don't have the money to buy them because they are not free, right? Self-motivation courses that are current. But the older ones you can download for free. You can get them in YouTube. The old, outdated ones, right? That's a starting point, right? You can't afford to buy books. There are some old books that are free downloads, right? You can go to certain resources where the world is a way, to find a way to educate yourself on a free basis. And you want to like market your company, you don't have marketing budget, right? They are try to use the free ways. The free methods is going to be more difficult, you have to understand, compared to paid ways. So you must just put shoulder to wheel, and don't have unrealistic expectations, right? So this is, and just keep your system. So what is the secret of all these people? That's the system, that they're following. So not only the system, some people just have a magnetic aura. So you have to understand that everyone has got this magnetic aura within themselves, but you're covered with layers and layers and layers and layers of baggage and negativity, and that's keeping you conditioned to a low level and keeping your self-esteem low. You have to start peeling out layers and layers and layers. Go for, start with counseling or speak to someone, and now you got AI that you can speak to, that has got an impartial ear, and work out all these things in you. But a very great tool is the spirituality tools like yoga and meditation, right? Especially only the physical postures is going to help you to evolve, right? And if you include mindfulness practice, you're going to evolve. If you include breath work, it's going to speed up your evolution process, speed it up. And if you do a kriya, right? Kriya is like you have already awakened your dormant life force energy, or activated into or brought it to the active level or a slightly higher level, and then you focus on controlling it, raising it and dropping it, raising and dropping it. That will exponentially improve the progress of your evolution positively, and you'll start to become, you'll have like a presence about you. You can command the attention of a room. When you walk into a room, it will become like you now are the light of the room. Or when people speak to you, they speak to you with respect. You command respect, and you command authority, right? Naturally, it can be developed through the yoga and meditation sciences. If you don't use the yoga and meditation sciences, it's very hard for you to come to a higher level. But will you reach like the level of Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs, and have $1 trillion company and so forth? Very unlikely. But you won't be where you're standing. They say you reach for the stars, but if you land on the moon, at least you went out of space, left the earth, right? So, but you will progress, in positively, right? So this is how it's done through, because if your inside is shining like a diamond, you will attract wealth, you will attract success, and you will attract, power, right? I promise you, right? You have to develop it, and you have to also understand it can't happen overnight with that. Is it possible to every person to reach the highest level? Yes. But you've got a certain amount of time, and you have other parts to your life as well, right? You can't be spending like 8 to 10 hours a day, only yoga, meditation, and 8 hours of work and hardly getting any sleep and forgot about your social life, right? You have to create a balance between two, and be happy. Sometimes you want to achieve this high level, but it's not, you're thinking you're going to be happy, you're going to feel content, and you're going to feel amazing. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be the case, right? I remember there was a time I had so much of money, and I was just sitting in my car, in my bespoke car, amazing rose petal soft leather, and anything I could think of, I would just be able to buy, right? And I bought and I finished buy everything that I could think of, right? I was happy. Not the mess. I didn't buy like a skyscraper and so forth. I was happy with the you know above above middle class home with a swimming pool and amazing garden and lawn, and having the luxury cars that I wanted, five of them at the time, at the same time, and having a vacation whenever I wanted. Every weekend, I wanted to go for a weekend away. I could travel over 100 countries and so forth, right? But I remember sitting with all this thing, looking out the window. It was, of my car, and it was raining, and the rain was just sliding down my glass. And I still remember that late afternoon. I'm sitting there. I just arrived home, and the remote gates opened, and I came in and didn't park in the garage. Just parked because I was going to go out again on the side, of my garage, a special parking spot. I was sitting there and just thinking, hey, I've got all the money, but I don't have peace. I don't have happiness. Money makes life a little bit comfortable, but it's not a source of peace and happiness. I promise you, right? If you feel it can make you happy, give you temporary, yes, temporary. When I first got the money, was I excited, about being able to buy my favorite things? I was not only excited, be out of the moon, right? But it didn't linger and last. It wasn't. It wore off, right? It's not something substantive. And then I found that happiness is free. You can find it from within your perspective with spirituality practices. This brings it about the inner peace and inner happiness, whichever way of spirituality. There's so many methods, right? It doesn't have to include religion, right? So this is, important, and developing yourself And I'm all for developing yourself and achieving heights and achieving goals. I'm always working on bettering and improving myself. And over the course of my life, I became better and better and better and better, in everything. And that person I am now is far superior to the person just last year. Just last month, I'm better than the person. Just last week, I'm better than the person last week. Because I'm always working on myself and improving myself and so forth. So yes, there are people, they got certain habits. That's why they're always famous, they're always wealthy, and they're always powerful and so forth. And can you, yes, within certain, limitations. And if you want the ultimate power, I remember there was one audio program I was listening to. It was in cassettes in those days. This is the 1980s, right? When I was listening to it on how to become, I was passionate of becoming rich, right? And to date, I have, okay, let's focus on the message first. And it was saying if becoming rich is the sole, you want to become rich, you make that your sole purpose in your life, you will become rich, but you lose everything else. You lose all your relationships, everything, right? So currently I own, my bank card is the highest level, right? Private wealth, right? Private wealth is, I'm proud that I reached that status. It's for, like, you get private clients is for the super rich, those who are beyond super rich. I'm not like, I'm currently not super rich in cash flow. I'm doing a startup, but I mean, I've got amazing asset value, and and very strong, and the cash will start coming in, because we all went through problems with COVID, and lost obscene amounts of money and so forth, but rebuilding. But the banking algorithms and so forth recognizes our track record. I'm 38 years with that particular bank, right? And they know my capacity and ability and earning power and my asset value as well. So private wealth, right? I don't have. I'm divorced 6 times. My children are not living with me. Um, I have 4 children. 3 of them don't communicate with me at all, right? At all, right? Uh, 2 block me. One is inaccessible to me, and just the youngest one is in another country, and I get to speak to her just once a week if I'm lucky, for just like 15, 20, 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes once it was 40 minutes. It was the first time I spoke to her 40 minutes in like over from the time she's born. She's not with me, right? There were rare occasions we were together, but divorce brings about these type of things, right? And friends, hardly any. I got one friend that I just is like a friend, like now going on, I think 2 years, right? And I mean, I lost friends that were 10 years in my life, were 26 years in my life, and so forth. But is it, am I, that particular friend is in a totally different country, by the way, right? I am unable to, meet with him regularly and so forth and so forth. And I'm estranged from my family, right? Estranged because I'm traveling 100, over 100 countries. I became estranged from everyone, right? So was that recording right? Are you to beware of being over passionate and obsessive about what you want, because guess what, you're going to attain it, and then you'll be left with nothing else but that, right? It's lonely at the top, right? So try to have balance, don't try to push everything, right? If I have to reflect, right, honestly speaking, right, um, would I want to change anything? I would have wanted to, yes, I would have wanted to just live an ordinary life, right? Just complete the one, finish medical school, and just be a doctor, and just be a regular GP, and be satisfied that I cannot earn over, generally speaking, over $1 million a year, and but I would be happy, and people respect my status or something, or maybe just go to a normal job, and be able to pay my rent, and a simple life, or just be able to afford my room and have friends and laughing with people, and on a Friday going to a gathering, and being invited to, I was very sociable. When I was poor, I had a big network. I became rich, I got nobody, right? You become very lonely, right? So also be wary of that. Try to have balance in your life. Have time for, don't thirst for something that's going to create imbalance in your life, right? Do it in a balanced way. So I hope that information helps you.